Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video on my channel, Hairlicious. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you guys are new so that you guys are updated on my second hair transplant journey progress, as well as video topics covering current hair loss treatments in the pipeline. Visit my website at hairliciousheat.com to grab your micro needling devices to stimulate hair growth, my DHT blocking shampoo and serum, low-level laser therapy cap, hair growth supplements, and a few other items that can help promote hair growth. So today, I actually want to let you guys know that I will be getting a third hair transplant later this year in South Korea. I'm going to be going back to the same doctor I had for my second hair transplant to lower the hairline even more and add in density into the frontal portion. I'm just kidding, guys. I know that a lot of you guys have been asking me if I'm planning on having a third hair transplant, so I wanted to talk a little bit more on this topic and let you guys know what my plans are. If you guys are new to this channel, I had two hair transplants. The first one was back in November 2016, where I got 1,700 grafts into the frontal portion of the hairline, paid about $5,500 USD, and the second one was done last year in November 2019, and I had about 1,800 grafts implanted into the frontal portion, also to lower the hairline just a little bit. And I actually did the unshaven method via FU8, and I paid around, I want to say about $7,500 to $7,700 USD. So the truth is, I will not be getting any more hair transplants anytime soon. I want to say for at least the next decade or so. I'm super happy with the results from the second procedure, and I feel that I've actually achieved what I've always wanted when I was suffering from hair loss. I have a nice hairline right now, as you guys can tell, where I don't have to worry about receding temples. And even with the shaven look, I don't feel insecure just showing off my hairline or my forehead. I'm really thankful for finding a good doctor who's been able to give me the density and a natural looking hairline. And the crazy thing is that I still have a few months left before I see the final results of my second hair transplant. So there's gonna be a lot more growth that you guys are going to see, and I'm gonna be taking you guys on this journey together. Now, this definitely does not mean that my hair loss journey is over. It has been a milestone that I've achieved for sure, you know, coming from where I used to be and to the hairline that I have right now. But it also comes with a lot of responsibility and long-term maintenance. Just because I've had a hair transplant or two doesn't mean that I'm fully out of the woods in terms of hair loss. Maintenance is going to be just as important, and if you guys do not take the proper measures to continue to fight hair loss, you are going to be in some deep shit. A hair transplant simply moves your existing hairs into the donor into the areas where you're receding. And the thing is, it's gonna not do anything. It does nothing for the rest of your hairs that are still afflicted with genetic hair loss. In my case, I really don't have to worry about the new hairline, which you guys can kind of see the outline right there where all the grafts are implanted. It's the areas behind the new hairline that I have to worry about, and it's still going to be genetically prone to baldness, as well as the mid-scalp and the crown. I still need to take, the right treatments to prevent and slow further hair loss. Even with proper hair loss treatments, everybody is going to lose hair. It's just part of nature. As you guys age, you guys are still going to lose hair whether or not you guys are taking any hair loss medications, 5-alpha reductase inhibitors, anything like that. Some people are going to lose their hairs faster than others, but the rate of hair loss is also going to depend on your hair loss treatment regimen, and more importantly, it's going to be your sensitivity to DHT, because we know that DHT is the main culprit for genetic hair loss. So in my case, in order for me to prevent a third hair transplant, or at least to push it back as furthest as I can, I'm taking 5-alpha reductase inhibitors, specifically finasteride. I'm actually taking 0.5 milligrams, whereas I used to take 1 milligram. And if you guys are wondering why, I actually did a study before comparing the efficacy of 0.5 with 1 milligram, and they're about the same. They're pretty negligible, so there's no point in taking an extra dosage of finasteride when 0.5 milligram is going to do the similar effects in terms of blocking DHT. And you also get to save money, and instead of having a 1-month supply, you can actually double that, and you can have 2-month supply. And then we have number 2, minoxidil 5% with micro needling. We know that minoxidil is going to help prolong the anagen phase of the hair cycle, and micro needling actually goes hand in hand because it also helps stimulate growth factors in the scalp for hair growth. This also ties into the topic of low-level laser therapy cap, because those also target and increase the anagen phase of the hair cycle, as well as promote better blood flow circulation in the scalp so that nutrients can get to the hair follicles. I did receive PRP treatment during my second hair transplant. I don't think it did much in terms of growth, but I think it actually helped with the healing process because I did realize that the redness subsided a lot quicker than it did from the first procedure, and I think the hair started growing out a little bit quicker than it did before. My first procedure, I did not get PRP, but for the second one, they actually gave me PRP for free. So I was lucky enough to go ahead and try it out, and I think that it had somewhat of a positive effect as far as hair growth. Now, if God forbid that I continue to lose hair later down the road despite being on finasteride and the rest of the regimen that I listed, I may have to bump it up in terms of my arsenal and get on dutasteride, since dutasteride is a much more potent form of a 5-alpha reductase. It inhibits nearly 90% plus of serum DHT. There's no need for me to jump on dutasteride right now since finasteride is doing the job. And the good thing is I don't have any sexual side effects, anything like that. And there's no point in taking something stronger when it's already doing the work. It's like taking a machine gun to a fight when a handgun can actually do the work. So for now, I'm good. Now, if my hair follicles become more sensitive to DHT later down the road, which is always a possibility, I may have to go for another hair transplant then. It's definitely going to have to be another FUE, but given that I've already extracted 3,700 grafts from the back of my scalp, I think I'm probably limited to about 2,000, maybe 2,500 grafts that I can extract at the most. And this also means that I would have to take a much more conservative approach as far as coverage and density, because I'm limited as far as what I can cover. So being Asian, it's not like I can use body hair or anything like that. So, you know, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I don't need another hair transplant later down the road, at least for the next few decades. And if hair loss does become to the point where it's just unmanageable, I'm probably just going to continue to shave down my head since the hairline is already established and I really like the design, and I might just incorporate SMP because at that point, if you're suffering from that severe of a hair loss, there's no point in me growing out my hair. But let's really hope that I don't go that far. And I honestly don't foresee myself going that further out because I'm actually turning 32. And as far as my hair loss is concerned, I think I'm pretty stabilized, but that's the other thing. You just never know when it's gonna strike you. You can be 40, 50, and then all of a sudden, you can go from like a Nord 3 to a Nord 7 in a matter of a year or even less. So it's very unpredictable, and that's the scary part about losing hair. Now, the other good thing is that there are a lot of good treatments in the pipeline. We have stem cell therapy, specifically RCH01. We have exosomes, Dr. Suji, who I actually sent him an email, but he just went completely missing in action, so I haven't heard back. And I'm trying to give you guys an update, but I don't know where he's at or where his progress is in terms of his stem cell research. But we also have anti-androgen treatments that are supposed to work better than 5-alpha reductase inhibitors that we currently have. But in the future, I feel that stem cell therapy is going to be the #1 cure, or at least the replacement for current mainstream treatment. And you know, it might not happen anytime soon, but research is being done and we are getting closer and closer for better treatments that are eventually going to hopefully replace current mainstream treatment. So for now, I am just going to enjoy the hairs that I have on my head and not worry about what can happen in the future later on, because there's no point in worrying about the future. I'm just going to enjoy the present and deal with it when the time comes. Now, in a later video, I am also probably going to stop by a nearby hair transplant clinic somewhere in Virginia or Maryland to get my donor zone assessed to give you guys an idea of how much more grafts that I might be able to extract if I were to get a third hair transplant. It should give you guys a good ballpark estimate of how many grafts a typical person can expect to extract. It's obviously going to depend on several factors, including hair characteristics, your ethnicity, donor zone, but it also might be a good topic for me to cover later on. I've read anywhere as high as 8,000 grafts for an FUE, and obviously a lot more for strip surgery because you can have upwards to 6, 7, 8, and possibly even more with an FUT. But I most likely am not going to go with an FUT because of the linear scar and the fact that I like cutting my hair short. But that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. Hope you guys like this video. Give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and I will talk to you guys and keep you updated in my next video. Take care.